All right, let's talk about Jennifer Lopez. The woman is an absolute force of nature, right? But what's the secret sauce? What's the fuel in the tank that keeps her going? Well, today we're diving deep into the diet that powers one of the most demanding careers in the world. Let's break it all down.
I mean, that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? For decades, we've watched J.Lo deliver these insane, high-energy performances that would leave artists half her age completely wiped. And the secret? Well, it's not just what she does in the gym. A huge piece of the puzzle is her incredibly detailed nutrition plan. And this is maybe the most important thing to get your head around. For her, this diet is way less about aesthetics and way more about pure, raw function. Think of it as a system, a machine, built to sustain a truly grueling schedule. So let's pop the hood and see how this thing works. Okay, so first things first. Before we get into the what, we have to understand the why. What's the philosophy behind her choices? What are those foundational rules that shape everything she puts on her plate? The whole thing really just boils down to one simple idea: clean eating. It's all about focusing on whole foods that are packed with nutrients. The goal is super straightforward. Get the most nutritional bang for your buck with fresh, organic stuff, and just say no to anything processed or refined. It's all about that performance fuel. So her daily routine really comes down to these three simple but super powerful habits. First, protein is the star of the show at every meal. It keeps her feeling full and supports her muscles. Second, snacking is strategic. We're talking fruits, nuts, and veggies. And third, a massive, massive focus on hydration. And when we say massive focus, we're not kidding. Her absolute non-negotiable baseline is at least 7 glasses of water a day. It's a simple number, sure, but it's the foundation that everything else is built on. Okay, so we've got the principles down. Now for the really fun part. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. What foods actually make the cut and end up on her plate, and which ones are totally off limits? Looking at her approved list, you can see the strategy right away: quality and variety. We're talking high-quality lean proteins like chicken and grass-fed beef. You've got your omega-3 rich fish for brain and heart health, and for that slow-burn energy, complex carbs like sweet potatoes and quinoa. It is truly a powerhouse shopping list. And then you have the other side of the coin. The avoid list is no joke. All processed foods are basically out, so no fast food, no chips, no sugary breakfast cereals. She also cuts out caffeine and alcohol. And here's a surprise for some: even certain vegetables that are higher in sugar, like carrots and corn, are limited. So that's the plan. But what does it actually mean for a normal person in the real world? Let's take a good, balanced look at the pros and the very real cons of trying to follow a diet this disciplined. But before we start weighing the good against the bad, we have to remember this crucial piece of context from Healthline. This diet was custom-built for one purpose: to fuel an elite performer. It was never intended to be a one-size-fits-all solution for everybody. And this slide just lays out the trade-offs perfectly. On the pro side, yeah, it can definitely help with weight loss and might even lower your risk for chronic disease because you're cutting out so much junk. But the cons, they're pretty significant. That focus on organic can make your grocery bills skyrocket. It's pretty impractical for a busy life since it cuts out convenience foods. And honestly, it's really restrictive and can even be a bit confusing. And this right here is a fascinating little wrinkle. It's what we could call the processed food paradox. The diet is super strict about avoiding processed foods, but it gives a pass to things like sugar-free products and artificial sweeteners. You can almost think of it as a strategic hack, a conscious compromise to manage cravings and make an incredibly rigid plan just a little more sustainable for the long haul. So after breaking it all down, what's the bottom line? Can the principles of J.Lo's diet actually work for someone who doesn't have a team of chefs and a superstar schedule to keep? You know, when you strip away all the celebrity stuff, what you find at the heart of this diet is a philosophy that's actually pretty sound. It's a balanced, whole foods approach. And, this is important, it's not 100% restrictive. The fact that it allows for occasional treats and a weekly cheat day is what could make a version of this actually sustainable for the rest of us. So the most important point here isn't to copy this diet exactly. It's to steal these powerful principles. Prioritize protein to feel full. Choose whole foods over processed stuff whenever you can. Drink your water. And maybe most importantly, build in some flexibility so you can actually stick with it. These are lessons that anyone can apply to their life. Which really leaves us with this final question to chew on.
Is the secret to this kind of elite health found in an extreme diet with a perfect list of good and bad foods? Or is it simply about applying extreme discipline to a handful of sensible, whole food principles? Something to think about. Thanks for watching.